You are tuned in to What Up Baltimore online radio. Please note that the views and opinions expressed are of the host and not of Lady J Media. Thank you and enjoy the show. You're tuned into Conversations with Joy B. Enjoy the show, sit back and relax, and don't forget to grab your cup of tea while you're at it. Here's Joy.
Absolutely live. We are live. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining this conversation this evening. This show, Conversations with Joy B. Milroy left for a minute, but he'll be back. Conversations with Joy B is sponsored by Lady J Media, Butterfly Entertainment. This already bless you. We're going to kill it tonight because we're going to be talking about this drama with black hair. This subject is like near and dear to my heart. So I was just thinking, Milroy. So I've asked Milroy to give me this long weave, Tanya T, for that's my niece, Latanya Smith, and for graduation. So I keep changing my mind. You know, I know I want to Tony Braxton. Well, so we're going to be talking about that this evening, and I have some questions for each of you. Mr. Hugh, we're going to be getting your opinion as to, you know, what styles you like. Are you involved in your wife's, you know, her decisions about her hair? I'm going to tell you right from the start, nobody's involved in my decisions but me. But, you know, somebody else may have a different opinion. So we're going to get started. Okay. So now my question to all of you this evening, my first question is, what is it about black hair that causes so much drama? And Milroy, you're sort of an expert, so we're gonna go to you for that question first. What is it about black hair that causes so much drama? I'll mute your mic. Okay.
Okay. Well, you know what? I think that because the level of difficulty for some people, but like I said, just to get to the diamond, you have to go to the deepest depths of the mountain. You know what I mean? Or to get to to get to the pearl in the ocean, you have to go to the deepest depths of the ocean and find a clam and open it up and pull it up. So, I mean, you know, it just depends on the people's mentality and that level. If you look at it as if it's a challenge that's arduous, then it will be one. But if you look at it as something that you just have to do as a king or queen, then hey, it's not going to be that hard. But we say it's a lot of drama because it takes so much and so much time to do our hair. Some of us.
Exactly. I like that answer. Okay, go ahead, Latonya. Talk to me about that. Why, you know, what's all the drama with black hair? Okay, so Latonya, this whole show started because you and I were having a conversation. Tell the guys about the conversation that you and I were having, and it just branched off into something big. Go ahead.
We were having a conversation about something that T.I.'s daughter posted on social media about. She said something about she had her father's hair, which is like a 4C texture, I'm assuming, and I think everyone ran with that as she was saying that she hated her hair, but she's a very light-skinned young lady who wears a lot of weaves. And I took it as her saying people didn't thought she may have had this good hair because of, you know, her skin tone. And she was saying that she didn't, and how she had to learn to love her hair. And I understand that feeling because I have that same type of hair and I had to learn to love my hair. I don't know what it is within the Black community ourselves that, you know, we have this thing with good hair, bad hair. If your hair is kinky, it's bad, you know. But for me, I felt that I've always had bad hair because that's what I was told. I was told growing up, you know, when I would want certain, you know, your hair is nappy. That's what it was. It wasn't kinky. It was just nappy. And And even when I went to the beauty salons, I remember being a little girl, you know, stylists act like it was such, you know, oh my gosh, it was so hard to do my hair. And I'm not a stylist, so I don't know how much it takes to do someone's hair like me, but the way they made me feel because of the things they were actually saying the whole time they were doing my hair, you know. So I was like, I have bad hair. I grew up and I started wearing weaves. Nothing against weaves, but I didn't think that my hair was beautiful. So I always wanted to cover it up. You know, and as
Right.
I got older, I started embracing my hair and trying to learn how to do it myself, you know, but I still know we live in a world where it's not always accepted.
Right.
I know I've changed my hairstyles for interviews because I feel like if I go in there with my natural hair, which I now think is beautiful, I notice the response that I get versus having a straight weave when I walk through the door. I even know the response that I get when I interact with men in public. You know, the type of men that may approach me versus, you know, when I have a certain kind of hairstyle.
Right.
So even
Right.
when you want to love your hair, you know, love it, society still makes you think sometimes, you know, that it's not a good thing. And we can't change the hair that God gave us that grows out of our scalp, you know,
Right.
but it definitely, you know, as a grown woman, that's something that goes with you from childhood, you know, that we just grew up feeling like it's just if it's curly it's good, and if it's kinky or nappy it's bad hair, and to throw
Right.
some creamy crack on it.
Right. Yeah. That's what we're going to talk about that. Tanya said that to me the other day because I still, you know, relax. Caucasians perm, we relax our hair.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly. So remember we were talking about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mr. Hugh, what's the drama? What do you think? What is this drama about with black hair?
I think the drama comes from just lack of acceptance from day one. Um, and when I say that is, you know, going back from slavery days, we were bought here, and there's just so many levels of how black people in this country were never accepted. And even when we've broken down doors for acceptance, there's always been just little things where we have to assimilate to looking like somebody else in order to be accepted. And it happens even to this day. I mean, I remember a few years ago, I worked part time at Four Seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Not to blast Four Seasons, but they have it within their mandate because they're not a publicly traded company. They're a partnership, and they
Right.
have it within their bylaws of how you should have your hair. And if you
Wow.
but that there was a lady in particular that was working there that used to work part time at my other job, and she had to buy a wig to cover
Wow.
up her hair, or else she could not keep her job.
Her natural
And
hair, Mr. Hugh?
absolutely,
Wow.
absolutely. When you go in, especially, well, you would never know unless you work there, but when you go in, right on the wall as you're going near the area where they hold their banquets and meetings and stuff, they have a chart for men and women. And if you don't look like one of those charts, you're
Wow.
not working.
Oh, I wouldn't
And
have.
I was there in the beginning within the first 2 years that they've opened, and I'm pretty sure they haven't changed because like I said, they when you're a partnership as opposed to a corporation, you can do a lot of things that maybe a corporation can't.
Right.
Um, so I
Mm.
just feel like, and I feel like there's a lot of other companies that do the same thing. So it creates a confusion level for women because now you're in a society now where women are constantly changing up themselves
All the time. All the
to
time.
reflect something that's not even real. You know what I mean? And instead of embracing what God gave them, you know what I mean? And it's not necessarily their fault. It's like, after you go through years of non-acceptance, this is the platform that's out now. You know what I mean?
That they created for us. So I do want to comment, like,
Absolutely.
yeah, Milroy knows that every week my hair may be a different color. There's like some basic black in there, but Mil, purple, green, yellow, whatever. I love my hair like this, so I got my hairdresser to, like to weave up my hair. This is an ethnic look that I really, really like. But I think if I were not in the job that I'm in the position that I'm in, as a manager, somebody would probably have something to say about, you know, like every week, because I am really, really, this is the absolute truth. Somebody said to me when I was over at a certain medical facility, oh my goodness, your hair grew. Your auntie, Aunt Daphne, had done my hair, remember, for my 43rd birthday, and it was so long and pretty and curly.
Mhm.
Somebody said, wow, your hair grew over the weekend. And I was going to take that person to HR. You don't have anything to do with my hair. Like
Right.
African American women, we can be so versatile with our hair. Like, you can get a weave without a relaxer or perm, right, Mel? Is that right?
Absolutely. Yes.
And so you don't have to go and put any crack cream on your hair, as my niece is saying. You don't have to. You can just, you know, like Mel, he'll hook it up, you know. My
I mean,
stylist. Go ahead, Mel. Go ahead.
you can even, I've even put weaves in people's hair who had dreads in it. So, you know what I mean? You, because you are a woman, the beginning women, the queens of the universe, the beginning of whole societies, the Black woman is, you know, it's a lot of depth to you all. I mean, y'all can look one way one day and then look another the next. I mean, and that's what I love about the Black woman, the depthness, the depth.
I'm always
of the,
doing. I'm gonna read something.
I like it.
First, I want to give this number. It's 443-297-4753. If you have a comment, you want to make a comment, but I'm going to read something to you guys. America first developed an obsession with Black hair during slavery. During slavery, slaves' hair was often removed. This would create a disconnection between the slaves, their culture, and their identity. During slavery, Black women did not have time to do their hair like they would have back in Africa. Moreover, the products she would have used in Africa are not available in America. And as a result, slave women would have to use things like butter and bacon grease in their hair to style their hair. The idea of good hair was also something that grew from slavery. Black women were made to feel and believe that their natural kinky hair was bad hair, while straight flowing hair, similar to white women, was considered good hair. It wasn't until the 1900s when Madam C.J. Walker developed and revolutionized Black hair care, making her one of the first Black women millionaires. In fact, Black hair care is a billion-dollar industry today that makes money off of Black women wanting to change the texture of natural hair. However, Black people all over the world are starting to understand how powerful their hair really is. Black hair can be worn in cornrows. Black hair can defy gravity because of our afros. Black hair can be worn in dreadlocks, like Mil was saying, and Black hair can be worn straight. Black hair can be done in weaves. Black hair can be worn high top, low top, regardless of how Black people wear their hair. If it does not reflect that what white people consider beautiful, it will never be to us. So why does white America hate Black hair?
I don't think they hate our hair. I think they actually love it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, now, so this article, let me see the year. Well, it's actually from 2021. Now, I think, and what I'm finding is a lot, and Mil, you can speak to this. Tanya, you too. Mr. Hugh, have you seen this? I see a lot of Caucasian women trying to imitate cornrow styles. They want their hair braided. They want their hair dreaded. Talk about that, Mil. Have you seen that?
Kim Kardashian and Bo Derek.
Yes.
They feel like I'm gonna tell you something. And before I don't want to jump too far off the subject, but I say this to everyone all the time. People come to the trenches. They come to the hood in Black communities and look at our styles and steal our concepts and everything. And then what they do, they take it back to their community. They articulate it, they conceptualize it and articulate it, and then all of a sudden it becomes a trend or becomes a fad that they started. Absolutely. Now the Kim Kardashian has started wearing the straight backs and the individual plaits that The girls in Baltimore City was wearing like 5, 6, 10 years ago, forever. Now it's popular because Kim Kardashian,
Did it?
a culture has taken.
Yeah.
And then years ago, it was Bo Derek with the straight backs.
Yeah,
Everybody
remember?
something
Yeah.
that's about community. White folk go over there and to the islands, to Caribbean islands, and they get their hair braided all the time. Pay
Right.
$100, $200. You know what I mean? Just because their hair cornrows.
Right.
So,
Right.
I mean, they steal it. They steal
Okay,
everything.
I've never seen like a Caucasian person get braids. They have to use a lot of rubber bands because their hair is sort of silky and it won't stay.
Well, what they do, they braid it while they cornroll it while it's wet, and then some of them they do use like a little salve to put it in there when they cornroll it going straight back,
and
and then they put the beads on it and then the rubber band.
Right, exactly. So Tanya, you want to talk about that for a minute?
What was the question again?
Okay, so how do you see that Caucasian women are emulating, our braid styles? I've seen Caucasian women with dreads.
Yeah.
I think that when they see a certain style in our community, I think they, like they don't actually hate our hair. They don't actually hate what we're doing. I think they're emulating these styles and they want to look. They're not only emulating our hairstyles, they're emulating our body shapes. And I am not at all bashing Caucasian women. I'm just making mention of what I've noticed. They're not only emulating our hair, they're emulating our body shapes and everything like that. They just I'm not saying that anybody wants to be African American. I'm just saying I've noticed it. I saw somebody the other day with a lot of braids like we get, like I guess we would call them 200s or whatever we call them. And then like when Black women take the hair and they pile it high, I've seen somebody do that. Have you noticed anything like that, Mr. Hugh? From Caucasian?
Absolutely. And I mean, I won't be as word sensitive as you were. I do feel like at the end of the day, uh, Black and urban culture is something that's very reflective. It's a very powerful, and a lot of people monopolize on it. Perfect case in point, Kylie Jenner. Kylie Jenner, her whole makeup line is reflective of colors and color palettes that would normally be used on Black people. And she's emulated herself to look like a Black woman by filling out her lips and having certain things done to her that makes you look at her in
Absolutely.
a way you almost think that she's a Black woman. And, I
Not
don't
including
hate on
having
it.
a Black man.
That's right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely.
That's another thing,
So,
Mill. It's
right.
that.
So I do feel like when it comes to uh, the industry of just anything dealing with Black culture, we're talking about a mega billion-dollar industry. So of course, you know, they want to emulate it. Of course they want to, just be a part of it. You know what I mean? I've
Right.
um I've had even, back in the day, I used to have locks once upon a time. I've had
Yeah.
people, yeah, absolutely. Had it for almost 2 years. I had people who want to touch my hair. I've had my people want to touch my hair in its natural curly state. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
Because I feel like it's a fascination. I've literally worked in an office and a Caucasian person will come and literally try to touch my hair.
That's
You know
a
what I
thing.
mean? So I do feel like there's a fascination with it. I do
There
feel
is.
like um, there's just a fascination overall with Black culture. I mean, they will try to spin it as if we're the most hated, but when you really think about everything as a whole, there's
Emulate.
so much that's emulated. And first off, if you really want to be honest about it, the first wigs that were ever found was from Egyptian time. Egyptians who created the first wigs. You know what I mean? They used to the kings, queen, and the pharaohs and the queens at the time. They used to have their hair sheared down a certain way, and they used to actually make wigs. They made
Wow.
makeup. The first makeup that was ever made was from Egyptians. You know what I mean? So when you think of those things, um, they've just borrowed pieces of those ideologies and made money off it. And if they're not making money off of it, of course they want to emulate it.
Right. I agree. I agree. And with the touching, wanting to touch a black woman's or even a black man, I find that so very offensive. And okay, Tanya, are you comfortable with talking about when you cut your hair all off?
Oh, that's fine. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I cut my hair because it was falling out. That was the first thing. But because I didn't know how to take care of my hair. And it was dry and it was brittle and it was falling out. So I did the big chop. But it was definitely hard for me because I've never in my life had my hair that short. I went through, like the short, phase, but it was like I had a regular, is that what they call it? Was really, really, really low cut. So I could just brush it and put a wave cap on. That took a lot of getting used to.
Right.
But through that, I had to learn how to, like I said, embrace my hair, love my kinks, and it taught me to grow with my hair. I learned how to take care of my hair, and that's when I started loving it because I realized it wasn't that I had bad hair. I just didn't know how to take care of it because I was never taught to take care of my hair. I was always taught to take care of my weave, my tracks, my wigs. I could do that, or but when it came to my hair, it was damaged, and I didn't know what to do with it. But I don't see anything wrong with weaves because I still do weaves. I don't see anything wrong with any of that with wearing it. My issue with it is that for some, it's because they hate their own hair. Like if you just want to try a different style, I wear my wigs when I'm trying to do protective styles, when I'm in the middle of not, my hair is not done. But when it's a thing where you just hate your hair, that's when it becomes an issue for me. And like I said earlier, when I started wearing my hair, and my husband, he said to me one day, I was going for an interview, well, why are you putting a wig on? And I had to explain to him because I don't think some black men understand like really what we go through. I'm like, we're already being judged on so many things. I said, and trust me, they're judging me on my hair. When they see us wear our hair a certain kind of way, they feel like a certain type of woman is coming in that they don't want to deal with. In their mind, the strong black, pro-black woman, which is nothing wrong with that. But they have all these thoughts about who I am just off of my hair alone. And it's not fair that I have to do that. But unfortunately, that's the reality of the world that we live in. Now, once I get in there, I'm going to wear my hair. But I'm going to get my foot in the door. But it's the thing that we shouldn't have to do that. Then we still have black, and it's black people sometimes that do it to us. It's not always the white people. I remember when I got married and I said I wanted to do room up Peggy. I said I wanted to do this braided up style. And so many people said, oh, it's not elegant. We tell ourselves these things. This wasn't coming from white people. We have to accept our hair first. We can't get mad when other people talk about our hair and things. When we do that to ourselves. We make ourselves feel like our natural hair and the things that are us is not acceptable. It's not classy. It's not elegant. Says who? And why is that a thing? I mean, and I don't know how we can get past that, but we have to. And when it comes to my niece, I try my best to talk to her to help her embrace her hair because I don't want her to go through what I went through. Her hair is beautiful, but she didn't always feel that way, because it's not long and flowy, but it's kinky and it's bushy. And accepting that. And unfortunately I'm not gonna say unfortunately, but she's in an environment in school where it's a predominantly white, school. So she's already dealing with that. And they have rules set in place that
they do.
That to me is saying, if you don't look white, it ain't right. That's basically what I get from it. So they're teaching her in school in so many words that the way you look naturally, the way God made you is not acceptable. And she's going to grow up thinking that. So I have to, talk to her and no, this is not how things are. Because if you're going somewhere every day and they're telling you, you can't look the way God created you, you're going to think that something is wrong with you.
I agree. I remember I braided her hair and she's like, Peggy, I can't have colors. At their school, they cannot have colored hair. And I'm thinking, like, that's not right. But now these White girls, you know how their hair is every color. I know you've seen it, Mill. It's green, it's
Yeah.
purple, it's yellow. So I
A
like
lot of
sometimes.
these,
Go ahead, Mill.
a lot of these rules that are set for hair are racially biased. They are not accepted until
Absolutely,
white women,
I
the
agree with
colors
that.
and all the coloring and all of this and the that, is not accepted until a white woman wears it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Right,
So even when it came down to braids were like a taboo. Then Bo Derek had them, and then now the Kardashians, they have
braids are
our
widely.
big butts of men. You know what I mean? She a brick house. Not, you know what I mean? The song they wrote
She a
songs
brick
about
house,
black woman. You
she's
know,
a brick
black
house.
queen. Now
Uh-huh.
and then they used to always look at, she got big butt, and they
Right,
frown down on
right.
it. But
Oh
now,
my goodness. You remember, Mill?
secretly admired y'all for years, huh?
I said you
Yeah, I
remember.
mean they admired y'all for years. Now everybody wants the tails.
Right.
And then let me
Everybody
tell you this:
but
black hair, we are at all-time high of accepting who we are, especially our Afro black queens. They're
right.
and
Right. Now,
they're different in their uniqueness. They're to embrace their hair, whether they wear a weave or whether they wear it natural, whether they shave it off bald or put a wig on like the Egyptians or the
I know.
Nubians.
I
But
know.
black folk are starting to become to a sense of consciousness, and I think that hair. I mean, yes, we have to have this conversation because hair is a pivot, is a pivotal point of it. You
It
know,
is.
people we are doing everything. Put it that way, black folk, we are realizing that we are everything now. So we want to wear our hair straight or 4C nappy and looking like Queen Mufasa. We're gonna do that now. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So
can do it.
you know what I mean? I think that we are. They start to realize that hey, I'm a king, I'm a queen. You know, that's what they start to realize.
Right.
We're
Right.
realizing that now. So
That's exactly right. That's exactly right, Mel. And I was gonna say, when I was younger and growing up, okay, so I was lighting a stove. Back in the day, we may have had to light the stove. So my hair caught on fire. And I always talk to Mill about this. I have an issue. Like my hair is very, very thin on this side, on the right side. So I do tend to cover it up, wear a weave or, do whatever because of that. So that's like I deem that like a medical issue. And I was thinking, is my hair ever gonna grow back? It may not. And so when we were younger and I was growing up, and remember me and Aunt Tam and your mom, like I was the first one. I would get a wig, Mel. I would get a wig out. I would cut that wig. I'm telling you, it, Tanya. See, I would kill it,
Yeah.
Mel. Yeah, and I was the only one. I think, like, if you would survey women on the street, like my age, they would say I never wore a wig, but I always wore a wig. And then as I got older, and then my sister started wearing wigs, I never wanted to wear one. Like I just never, wanted to wear a wig. If I have a bad hair day, I'll wrap my hair. Like before I go to the hairdresser or something, I'll just wrap my hair. Like I'll put like Nubian knots or like on like a scarf and I'll wrap my hair. But okay, Mr. Hugh, I wanted to ask you this question. Do you have a hairstyle that you prefer that your wife wears, or is she like totally in charge of her hair, or can you suggest something?
Um, I first of all, I'm not married yet.
Okay.
We're going
Oh, okay.
together, but I do love the compliment. Thank you.
You're welcome.
um, but I I really don't have preference. I mean, just as long as it's something that's complimentary to her.
Right.
Um, and at the end of the day, that's all my decision. I mean, can suggest some things, but at the end of the day, as long as it's something that that is complimenting to her, you know what I mean. I really don't have a preference per se.
Okay. Okay. So now I'm gonna read something again. Now this is about This article is entitled Beyonce responds to Blue Ivy hair drama with a perm. Now, I don't know who wrote this. Well, okay, so it's saying somebody named Castle Daz wrote this article with regard to natural hair. And so he Beyonce Knowles has finally responded to the controversy surrounding her daughter Blue Ivy's offensive hairstyle. They're calling this when she was little.
Offensive.
Yes, 2014, Tanya T. For the past 2 years of a young toddler's life, Blue Ivy has caused a severe discourse within the African American community with her unruly curly locks. Knowles and Sean Jay-Z Carter have been relentlessly scrutinized for their negligence of their child's grooming. After much uproar and a public petition, Knowles has finally succumbed to the pressure and permed Blue Ivy's hair. I do not believe that, but I'm going to read on. The 32-year-old pop star was recently spotted at a 24-hour drugstore picking up a box of Just For Me around 2 a.m. in the morning. She was also alleged to have purchased 2 bundles of Blonde 30 Remy Malaysian at Obama Beauty Supply. Furthermore, New York City's most popular kid hair salon, Not Today, KNOT Today, is said to be closed down for a special client this upcoming Friday afternoon. Many assume that that special client is indeed Blue Ivy Carter. Sources say the famous tyke is set to debut her new look on Instagram in just a few days. Without giving away too much, Knowles Instagrammed a cryptic handwritten note that seems to confirm the baby relaxer allegations. The note was uploaded with a Valencia filter and featured a baby comb at the center of the page. And the quote said, "Fine, I'll do it. Y'all happy. Damn." But I don't believe that. Does it, like, Mel, did you hear that today on the news, like on some news on the internet? And her hair was very long in a weave, and she won some type of award. But did you hear anything about, you guys can see this. So that's what they were calling offensive, like the way her hair is right there, which is not right. She was a child at the time. Did you hear anything about, they said that unruly curly locks. So they were talking about her hair in a public petition. So I wouldn't care what kind of petition you got. That wouldn't have made me perm my child's hair. I'm not really believing this. So what are you thinking about that? Mel?
I think he's froze.
Okay,
Yeah, I think
well, I mean, he was, what, were you fetish you?
Yes, he's
You were about to say something?
Yeah, I was, but I didn't want to cut you off.
Go ahead.
No, I mean, I cut you off because you called me first, Hugh.
Go ahead, Hugh. Go ahead. Do you believe that?
Okay, so first off, I feel like there's always going to be pressure in the entertainment industry of what people should look like. And unfortunately, there's not been, even though we've made some headway, there's not enough of a reflection point as far as how we're represented in our natural state. Until you can get to the point where it's a commonplace to look at an Essence magazine or just whatever magazines. It doesn't have to even necessarily be a black magazine. It could be just a regular magazine like Time magazine.
Uh-huh.
And if we're able to be reflected in our natural state, I feel that would be a turning point. Even when I was younger, I used to buy magazines all the time. I used to think that maybe society thought that black women was not beautiful because you didn't really see it represented in magazines, not to how it should be,
Right.
and
Only
it's
Jet.
so it's like you second guess some things, when it comes to that. You wonder, okay, well, what is the true representation of what beauty is supposed to be, and unfortunately, there's just this false image of what beauty's supposed to look like. It's supposed to be, I don't know, straight hair, skinny,
Right.
women or
Absolutely.
whatever, and that's not even what people are attracted to. I know I'm not
Right.
attracted to that.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely.
I feel like the most amazing thing that's on this earth is a curvaceous black woman. You know what I mean? With and whether she chooses
Hallelujah.
to wear certain natural hair or whether she buys it or whatever, it's all about how she feels in that moment of empowerment. You know what I mean? And I
Absolutely.
feel like in America, they just kind of shun that. You know what I mean? They don't really embrace it, and you don't really see it reflective. So it's always going to be a backlash of how you're supposed to look or how you're supposed to represent yourself.
Right. I understand that, but I think what we're coming to, and I'm going to finish reading this article after both Latanya and Mill comment on this, but what I think it's coming to, when you get up in the morning and you get yourself dressed, you are supposed to look in that mirror and you are supposed to say, wow, I am beautiful no matter what I have on, no matter how my hair looks. Even days when I feel sort of frumpy, I'll be like, you're still good. You're still good, Peggy Butler. Just go ahead, do what you got to do. Do what you got to do. And that's what I think it's coming to. We aren't cringing. We aren't like moving back for anybody. In fact, we're moving forward. Right, Mel?
Absolutely. And your niece said, when she, people were intimidated by the natural hair.
Absolutely.
I feel like natural hair exudes strength in a woman. The
Mm-hmm.
natural hair exudes strength. Not only does it exude beauty, but it exudes strength. And a lot of times, when it comes to African American women, a lot of people are afraid. They're afraid of the black man. So, but they're just afraid of this melanin. They're afraid of this black skin.
I know
And
that.
that's one of the things I always tell my students. I was like, listen, especially if you are around people of other races and nationalities, they're afraid of this melanin. They're afraid of our natural hair. They're
Right.
afraid of us. So what we need to do, we have a universal language that needs to be spoken. Just smile.
That's right.
And then they can be afraid of our beautiful teeth. You know what I mean? Our beautiful white teeth. But all in all, natural hair exudes strength. And a lot of times people, they don't understand what was going on with the beginning, with the man who was in the beginning, and who was part of their forefathers, the original man, the black man. So they don't understand it. So when they see the things that the first people who inhabited the earth, the natural hair that act as beams to the universe, these are like antennas. They connected to the universe. So when they see these things, these Martian looking things and things that connect us to the world, to the universe, they are intimidated by nature. It's just something about us, African Americans, especially the most melanated women or men with natural hair, very intimidating. Beautiful but intimidating.
Yeah.
Shocking but and intriguing. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. I
it's
love that word.
something. It's
Intriguing.
something. Yeah. And that hair, whether it's all bald to the scalp or big and afro-y, natural flowing, they are afraid. But they're a little bit more accepting of the straight hair, like she said, going to the job. But when you see that natural Shaka Zulu hair, Lord knows.
And you know what image I
Fear.
get? You know what image I get? When I see a woman with natural hair, I'm like powerful, strong. Those are the words that come to mind when I see, because I feel very powerful with this hairstyle. I really do. I really do. I got dressed up one day. It was over the weekend. And I was like, wow, look at me. Look at me. I love this, wow kind of hairdo. Go ahead, Latanya. Comment on this Blue Ivy scandal. First of all,
Okay. Well, first of all, I don't appreciate this ignorant person writing this ignorant article about Blue Ivy on the Queen's internet. But anyway,
right.
um,
She loves Beyonce.
no, Beyonce.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like Mr. Hughes said, it's not a lot of you don't see a lot of Black women in the spotlight, like on magazines and things with their natural hair. And then when you do, I feel it's real costumish. It's never like how we would probably really wear our hair. It's like it just doesn't look like the average Black woman that will wear her hair from day to day. Then you have the other side of that. It's always the ambiguous Black women, like you can't really tell what they are. And that's not, they're Black, but that's not when I see me, that's not who I see.
Right.
Even when they cater to, when they're trying to sell us on hair products, it's always, this is a natural hair product. But for who? For 4C hair or the number 3 hair? Because that's a 2 different kind of naturals. When they say, oh, Black women are natural, they're really still not talking about women like you and I, Aunt Peggy, with our kind of hair.
Right.
They still are catering to a certain type of natural hair. You know what I mean? And it's like we still have to get past that. It's still, this is what our hair looks like. Not the ones that's closer to the white type of hair, but the kinkier hair. For them, they feel like they're accepting it because it's natural, but it's still that that gray area. Okay, but this is not all that is to a Black woman. We're different shades. We have different textures. If you're going to embrace it, you have to accept all of us. We're all different. We have people in our family that have that finer hair, and then you have the ones that have hair like us, and everything in between. So you can't accept one type of Black woman and one type of natural hair. When you see Zendaya on the red carpet, as much as I love her, they always say, she's the first Black woman to do this. Oh, she wore the braids on the stuff because she's fair skinned and she has the good hair,
Right.
But then you see Lupita, her hair is beautiful, but you're not going to hear them talk about her with her natural hair the way they talk about Zendaya, because she has the kinkier side of it.
Absolutely. And I had a young lady, her schedule conflicted, but she is, I'm trying to get it right, she is Black and Hispanic. I think that's it. And she was telling me how she has so many issues with her hair. Her hair is very long, but it's sort of thin. And she was, we were talking about a conversation ensued, and I was telling her, and Mill, that my granddaughter, Tanya T, Aubrey is fascinated with long hair. Aubrey is absolutely.
We lost you.
Go back. There I go. Okay, I got it. Something happened. Aubrey loves long hair, and Aubrey's hair is, oh my goodness. Sometimes I tell the child, come here. Her hair is so thick, but I would never go against her mom and relax this child's hair. Her mother wants to, so it's like, it's just so coarse. It's so coarse. And she cries when she gets her hair done. So Mill, next week, you and I will talk about something to soften her hair up. But let me finish reading this article. So now it says the post has since been deleted. No one is sure what the singer was referring to, but many fans suggest it's her response to the hair scandal. Knowles shocked the world when she allowed her child to wear her hair in its natural state. Why is that shocking? The kinky curly locks have been considered unworldly, unkempt, and nappy by whose standards, just like you said, Tanya T. Several offended individuals signed the anti-Blue Ivy hair petition, commenting. Now, if this was a petition, they would have really gotten it from me. Because no child whose mom spends thousands on her hair monthly should live life looking like a sheep. That's from a Caucasian lady named Nancy Kondo. She put her name in here. I'm going to just go ahead and put her out there. Cruelty to children has to stop. Now, I don't know if Annie Campbell, I didn't look her up. And this is the one that really, really took me to a place. She is going to be teased and bullied when she becomes a teenager. Please comb her hair. That sounds like an African-American woman, and then somebody said, Blue Ivy's father, Jay-Z, likes to brag about his charmed life, while his wife is dripping in expensive weaves, jewelry, and designer gowns. Beyonce's mother was a hair salon owner. Please comb that clown baby's hair. Now, see, that would make me angry. Like, that's why I don't think this is true, because they probably would have got sued for these comments. Apparently society, particularly within the Black culture, has no room for wild and untamed tresses. We have room, don't we, Mill, for any kind of style that we want to wear. Like, talk about that. Like, come on. Look, they said, while there is small and growing movement of natural hair empowerment, it is still taboo to actually flaunt such thick textures. Ironically enough, Blue Ivy's auntie Solange Knowles is highly praised for her daring hairdo, which consists of natural curls and kinks. Well, I think she should be praised. I think she should be praised. If a person wants to wear kinky hair, straight hair, they are really, really ridiculing a child. That's why I'm not sure, because there's a certain thing called libel and defamation of character, and I think Beyonce is smart enough, and Jay-Z, to know that. I would sue them. So I just think this thing of trying to force a person, and it's true, a lot of corporate America wants to force us into these straight hairstyles. Now they'll hire somebody. Okay, so I'm gonna create a character, and her name is Jasmine. We'll say her name is Jasmine Lloyd, and Jasmine just graduated law school, and Jasmine goes for an interview at a prestigious law firm. Jasmine has a part down the middle and a straight bob. Jasmine's very highly qualified for this job. Jasmine's likely going to get that job in front of, in corporate America because of the way of her hair. But just say, Jasmine decides a year later that she's going to wear her hair like this. I think it would be an issue. Does everybody agree?
Yes.
Unmute your mics.
I worked the job I had when I was working in psych, and I was the only.
Go ahead, Mr. Hugh. Unmute your mic.
Huh? Hello?
I can't hear you.
Hello?
Unmute your mic, Mel. Can I hear you? Mel, go ahead.
Hello?
I can't hear you.
I think it's you. We can hear each other.
Yeah, I can hear everybody else.
Is there Tanya? Can I hear you? What do you have to say?
I think it's your mic. Can you hear me?
Something's wrong with my mic?
Yes.
Yeah.
Something's wrong with my mic? Okay,
yes.
So I'm going to go out and come back in. You guys just chat amongst yourselves. I'm going to come back.
All right.
Okay, y'all. I know Joyce had a problem with her mic. I think hearing. But anyway, I'm going to sit here for a second until she comes back. But I'm enjoying the conversation. I'm loving the conversations because I wear wigs like I wear hats, and I'm good with it. And I think we have to teach our young ladies, we have to teach our girls as they're growing up that it's okay to love who you are, embrace the skin that you're in, love your hair. It's a lot of women that have alopecia, and these women, I meet women who have alopecia, and they are like so scared, and they feel so bad because people are talking about long hair. You should get a weave. You shouldn't get a weave. You should get a perm. You shouldn't get a perm. I like what my one girlfriend did. She had alopecia. She shaved all her hair off and she went on with her life. And that's what we have to do. We have to learn how to not be pressured by society.
It just depends on the individual. I'm sorry.
It does.
I said, I have people who shave their head off bald and then tomorrow wear a wig. So I feel like, yes, I feel like you got to do what you want and what makes you feel happy.
Exactly.
I do have clients I have a client who has, sectional alopecia, like on the top of her head, where she looks like Ronald McDonald. But I tell you, she still feel like she's not finished yet. So she wants something done to her head. So I'll put a weave in it. Exactly. And so I don't want her, and her head is too dented to be not wearing a weave. So, of course, if she wanted to wear her hair dented, people had that prerogative. But I really need to. I really wish that they look at the little things. Like what this girl head is dented in on the side, and so you gonna tell her, girl, and embrace yourself. Now, if she want to embrace herself, that's fine. But I don't think she's gonna get a man with her head dented on the side. I'm sorry.
We're not worried about that, Mel.
I am when I get my customers.
But that is part of embracing yourself. Like, it's not about what we think of her; it's about what she think of herself. So if she's one
What she think,
absolutely,
absolutely. But if you saw that dent, she would have thought of herself as trying to cover that up for real. I mean, but hey, I love this.
But not everybody is like that, because I work with a lot of women and they have a lot of different issues. And you know, one woman I know, her entire body has been burned because of an abusive situation she was in. But you know, other people may look at her and laugh because half of her hair is gone.
And laugh. Why would they laugh?
Because that's how people are. People are cruel.
People are cruel, Mel.
They're very cruel, and women are even more cruel to each other. You know. So, but the thing is, she embraces who she is, and she's okay with some days wearing her hair like it is, and some days putting on a wig or weave or whatever. I just think it's all about loving yourself. If you don't love yourself, you can't expect anybody else to love and embrace you. You know. Everybody don't like me because I'm big bone, but I don't, you know, that if a man doesn't like me because I'm big bone and he prefers a smaller woman, that's his preference. That's up to him. But I'm going to love the skin that I'm in. You know, I'm going to.
You heard what Mr. Hughes said earlier. Black, and I mean, I know we jumping off the subject, but you talk about you big boned. That nobody want no little boned either. So,
but some people do.
Some do.
Yeah, some people want a little bone.
That's not the person for you.
Right.
Because not all black women are curvy. Like, you know, not every black female is built the same. So if that man or whoever doesn't want you, then that's not the person for you. Somebody's going to want you.
Right. But you must first love yourself. That's why I'm loving this conversation. You must first love yourself. You can go to a million hairdressers and get your hair done and everything done and come out of there looking like $1 million and looking beautiful. But if you don't love yourself and your self-esteem is low, it means nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Well, you have never been in Milroy shop before. You have never came.
I ain't never met Milroy.
And then had the man who's anointed and had the gift of exaltation, period, to touch it. That's what I'm saying. People, I've had situations like that. And that's what I do. But I believe in spirits and people who over your head. So spirits is transparent.
But Mr. Milroy, you still have to have self-esteem. If you
absolutely,
you can't
and
give
I can help with that.
That's something that comes from within. That comes from within.
It comes from within. But sometimes you can use a lot of without to help the within, boo.
And you can help.
She's feeling good.
Let me say something.
You can help.
Yep, let me say something.
I'm going on this JB show. This ain't
okay, Dr. J, because I need you to hear this. What I think Dr. Jenkins is saying is that you can get your hair done. You can spend $500 on a weave. You can spend $1,000 on an outfit. You can get your nails done. You can get a makeover from head to toe. And you can look in that mirror and say, I still don't feel good. I still don't love myself. So what she's saying is, from the start, you got to know, I'm the bomb.com. You know, I'm doing this thing. You know, you got to believe it. You got to believe it. Not only
and Ms. Pecky, I feel that and I see that, but then also I know there's other people that's open to the opportunity to when they came at you looking like the bewildered, and you come in and you let your gift work and they look amazing. Trust me, it has to, because I just had a situation like that today. The woman just turned around and gave me $100 tip. What's that about? So y'all can tell me that all day, but I know things can change through hair.
They can, and we're not saying that it doesn't. And you are probably
saying that, but a lot more times than what y'all saying it doesn't. Like she got to fix. Let her come in and fix herself with a couple of people. She don't got to mess with nobody. A couple of people hollering at her because she looking good from head to toe. It makes a big difference. I'm sorry.
I think that's still not everyone. That's not the way everybody, you know, that's not going to work for everybody. And I'm going to speak from personal experience, there was a time in my life I was going through some things nobody would have ever known. But when people found out, they said to me, I would have never thought that you were going through this because of the
Absolutely.
way I look. So it didn't matter what I looked like on the outside. I was still
Absolutely.
what I was going through. You know, I still had to learn to love LaTanya. None of this even mattered. You know, so that's not, maybe that does work for some people, but that's not every female. It's not going to be the same for everyone.
And even if it works, this is the thing. Even if it works, it's only going to work. It's only temporary.
It's a band-aid.
Until you learn how to love who you are, you can dress me up as much as you want. But until I learn how to love who I am, that's only temporary. That's a temporary fix.
You know what? I'm gonna tell y'all what y'all talking about is a different show. I'm not talking about a woman who come. No, I'm not talking about women who have issues because of other things. I'm talking about women who don't have issues. Everything is cool, but she ain't feeling sexy, or she's not feel. She feel like she needs to uplift through hair.
We're talking about the whole picture. So hair is our crowning glory. We have to do what we have to do as far as our hair. Okay, so we're running out of time. Okay, Mill. Tony T, final comment. Yeah, final comment. We gotta
just like we said the whole show. It's just about self-love and loving yourself. Do what makes you comfortable with your hair. You know, not giving into what society deems as beautiful.
Absolutely. Mill, comment. Final comment, Mr. Hill.
Oh, well, as I said before, I think that it's phenomenal the way that Black women can have such versatility with their hair. They can have their hair several different ways and it be deemed as beautiful. I said before, when my lady decides to do her hair or whatever, I don't have a preference. You know what I mean? I accept it all as beautiful. And I just feel like that should be a precedent that is set forth for. We got to lift our women up, because society for now is always going to make it to where it should look like something else. So we need to uplift our own women to allow them to know that, okay, maybe it's not accepted in certain, outlets or whatever, but it's still beautiful. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I think that's very important.
I agree. Milroy, final comment. Hair.
Final comment is to everyone. Don't listen to them other people on here. I still think you go ahead, dude, and fix yourself up a little something, and look in the mirror and have your own party and learn how to love you.
I see him tomorrow. It's on site. It is on site. I see him tomorrow. Thank you all so very, very much. I do believe we have to embrace our image. We have to think we're beautiful, love ourselves, self-care. Thank you, everybody.
Love you, Black women out there. I love y'all.
Absolutely, for having a conversation with Joy.
I love you, Mr. Milroy, even though I don't know you.
It's all right.
I'm going to come see you.
Absolutely. I'm going to take you right to him, okay?
Yes, I'm gonna have to come see him.
I style wigs too, baby. I style wigs too.
I'm gonna bring one over there so you can style it. I told you I wear them like I wear hats.
All right. I can put my head on it too. Yeah, Hey.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Good
night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye bye.